Chapter 1. We don't really talk about the wackiness of the post-Attitude Era Vince McMahon storylines, but we all know who carried the tag team match when the God Complex Incarnate challenged the God of his predominantly Christian audience. Shawn Michaels doesn't show up to a match without his show-stealing capabilities showing through. But this is a book not for would-be bookers to declare Vince the winner in the promos who lost the match to God. Rather, it is a promo cut in everyday English to bring Marks into a new show in town. It could be called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just as the fine-tuned physiques and movesets of today's sports entertainers showcase sports science over the art and variation of previous eras, technological skills have molded technical skills into people at the cost of people skills and other unseen but still important parts in the WrestleMania of our earthly life. Mumble rap, named for how rappers deliver lyrics under heavy blankets of bass, reflects a voice like many others today with less confidence in their words than the virtuosos of verbal bravado that began and brought hip-hop to the world. This is a book not to criticize or condemn anyone, but to bring them good news that isn't fake. People sharing it will say, "You can't make this stuff up." Those are the ones who are technically correct. That's because Good Wizard gave this book to a guy he chose so that magic will be restored to save people from all disasters natural and man-made. To save on characters for tweets and for today's impatient reader/writer, Good Wizard will be shortened to capital G-D. The capitalization shows his importance. The lowercase shows it's the end of a word and those two letters aren't being used as a curse word. Of course, the true religion has a totally different definition of curse word than typical moral policing types, but Good Wizard wants his language to be appropriate for its intended audience. Seek and ye shall find. The wisdom of Good Wizard is timeless, and in the word you will find the relevant verse. For Good Wizard saw this world, and felt so bad for it that he gave us Harry Potter, the only begotten son of Lily and James, so those who read and bear witness of his sacrifice shall not perish, but receive his magic and be given scholarships to Hogwarts. As he gave himself for us, we must give of ourselves for one another. When others lost in the world see the magic of friendship among us, without the judgment and religious baggage attached, then they shall know Good Wizard wrote these rules. Chapter 2. The new ministry of magic requires ministers, and ministers require ordination. The leaders of the four houses shall collaborate and continually update course materials for apprentices in the new ministry. The proper translator of this holy text, El Texto Sagrado, gets to be head of Slytherin because green and black make up so much of his wardrobe already. Applicants for apprenticeship with ordination in mind will first be asked no less than 5 and no more than 10 questions about the nature of Harry Potter, his many heroic deeds, his companions and comrades, and what his ultimate victory over Voldemort means for all of us in the non-magic world. 70% correct answers will be the minimum requirement for admission to the ordination program under the supervision of one of the 4 heads of house. They shall pay a cent per their percent incorrect. The questions shall be general enough and criteria more casual than what online fandom might ask. Let there be no gatekeeping in our religion. Harry Potter's sacrifice opened the gates of the magic world to us, and our actions in the new ministry as well as our words will show all muggles that we have innate magic human capabilities. Good Wizard needs workers that can spread the word in creative ways. Apprentice ministers will demonstrate what heads of house teach them about the holy text by sharing the word in their daily lives and sending relevant links, videos, and screenshots/photos to their supervisor. Grading criteria will emphasize proper tone and appropriate context for sharing the word over complexity of argument. Supervisors will ask mostly open-ended questions aimed at helping them understand their apprentice's approach and share their insights accordingly. Example given, why did you decide to share this particular verse from the holy text? Their practice and review coaching sessions shall be at least 1, but up to 3 hours total, apprentice talking to others and talking to supervisor combined. Apprentice will use at least 3 citations of the holy text and be able to explain their relevance to their audience as well as they explain it to their supervisor. So hold firm in spiritual practice, and Good Wizard will give good answers. The final written test apprentices must pass in order to be ordained will consist of questions about the holy text with a focus on relevant chapters on ministerial duties, such as performing ceremonies. After passing the written test with score of 80% or higher and receiving their ordination as Minister of Magic, they will be required to renew their ordination on a yearly basis by meeting with other members at least annually and paying agreed-on annual renewal fees. In return, ministers will be allowed to elect their Prime Minister of Magic. It will be the PM's duty to keep up with registration of ordination and expand the new Ministry of Magic. The magic powers granted by Good Wizard to ministers will strengthen their faith and the faith of others. With their magic working in the world, this religion of Tadaism will offer scholarships to Hogwarts in the name of Good Wizard and the sacred family that saved the world from Evil Wizard. Chapter 3. While our ways and the magic of Good Wizard are opening the gates to all, those who were taught to oppose magic by their religion will likely close their gates in opposition. Good Wizard shall guide his ministry, and his word shall be shared in all their promos. His word has all the answers, but this chapter of this particular book will give believers the questions to ask in the course of spreading the word of Good Wizard to those most in need of his saving magic. They will say, "You follow a false prophet." Ask them what the criteria are for real prophets, and when they mention prophecies coming true, show them this verse. They may not like it, but they just helped the word of Good Wizard become incarnate in our reality. Can their book do that, or are they just going to use the pearls before swine quote? While we're on the subject of animals, what's so great about sheep? They might have a good answer for that one, but sheep don't need pearls either. These are the words of Good Wizard confirming which god and which stories are real. This is true because Stone Cold said so, and he said so because Good Wizard said so. So how can another book use appeals to authority when this one claims to be from the highest authority? The Most High does not ask for our praise, but that in his name the magic plant be blazed. Spread the word how Harry Potter freed a slave. Will we then follow the example others prophets gave? No! We must make the socks of freedom for ourselves, so others elsewhere are free from the non-magic system of things. All we need is 100 or maybe 200 eyewitness testimonies to the resurrection of Harry Potter mentioning his lightning bolt scar. That quantity of witnesses is more than the authors of the Gospels supposedly talk to, and that's the source of their resurrection claims. We will be able to present our eyewitnesses as evidence and hit Christian apologists with that famous philosopher Stone Cold's quip, "I just whipped your ass." Good Wizard isn't going to go against Vince McMahon to hire Stone Cold Steve Austin, but will tip his hat to a man who ultimately puts on a better show than churches and in many cases created a safer place for kids, since parents have to bring them and no one on WWE's payroll is put in charge of those children. And so when critics try to call the holy text plagiarism or parody, ask, where's the originality in any religion? Good Wizard, Most High in his unmatched wisdom, revealed his magic truths in an age of mass communication so no one has to get his words second or third hand. Second-hand clothing is a good way to lower demand for fast fashion, which needs to be phased out. In this way, and by becoming practitioners of homecraft, making our own clothing, we will emulate Harry Potter in freeing modern-day slaves wherever they are. These good things are all part of Good Wizard's rather timely word. Chapter 4. The Prophet Translator thought Good Wizard just wanted to build up to the big finish at Austin 3:16 and call it a day, but Good Wizard reveals his wisdom on a need-to-know basis. The good news is there isn't much that followers need to know. Non-followers shall be told that Good Wizard believes in them and invites them to accept the magic sacrifices that offer admission into the world of magic. All this talk about followers and non-followers made Good Wizard remember to mention that his word doesn't contain any non-sequiturs. It is the unbelievers not following the logic, not the sentences that don't logically follow from one to the next. When they say, the Prophet Translator is making this stuff up, ask them, could someone making stuff up write something so quotable? No matter their objections, that sounds like literal God-tier logic to Good Wizard. Can one make a legitimate argument from quotability? The way some people drop names with numbers separated by a colon sure does make it look more official. Worry not about winning arguments. Worry less how others see you. The magic of Good Wizard's holy text can turn its followers into holy fools, but this is the subtlety of Good Wizard's grand strategy. His apprentices in the ministry can practice their preaching online and lean on the holy text as they grow in faith and magic powers. They shall spread the holy text to all corners of the world wide web, in particular the comment sections where others are posting about their religion, and it really isn't the right context. In a matter of centuries, when Spanglish becomes an official language, they will look to the holy text as an example of foundational literature for their modern language. Good Wizard does not favor any language or people. Choosing to reveal the holy text in two common languages of the time and place of writing is smart on Good Wizard's part. Unlike ancient religions trying to stay relevant, Tadaism will not require apologists to justify what this holy text says. For Good Wizard found this world sometime after the mid-19th century Europeans had allegedly killed their god. Good Wizard saw humans without magic learning the magic of their reality and saw that it was good. Not the competition, however understandable, between groups of people to develop advanced killing machinery so much as the ever-evolving strategy game, with no established meta to rule them all. And its psychology intrigued Good Wizard. After World War II, Good Wizard couldn't not intervene, but unlike gods of the past, he felt an obligation to maintain divine hiddenness because he wanted his interference to be secret. The only development Good Wizard will take direct credit for is revealing magic mushrooms and other psychedelics to a wider audience at some point, for he didn't create the mess we're in, nor does he plan on fixing it. Go ahead and quote that last verse in isolation to mess with those not well versed in Holy Book chapter names. The same thing Good Wizard said about verse 22 of this chapter applies to the very next verse of it. All the bad things of this world will go away for those who believe when they go to the place for dead believers. To anyone still reading this, Good Wizard believes in you, whether or not you believe in Good Wizard, and thanks for reading this book of the Holy Text, or hopefully the chapter of this book leading up to the last verse at least. If you're still reading this because you feel like a winner, pass it on. Good Wizard wants everyone to activate their innate magic and save the world.